Let's take a break. Coffee break tayo. Mura ng cafecito.
Welcome to another coffee break where we're able to learn, discuss, and discover various topics. So I'm glad you're able to join me on your coffee break. So grab yourself a hot cup of coffee and have yourself a seat. And on today's topic, we'll be looking at a 6-step problem-solving model. So yes, a very simple 6-step problem-solving model. So let's get right into it because we don't have much time because you are on your coffee break. So just understand that problem-solving models are used to address many issues that come up on a daily basis in your workplace. And these problems may be technical or issue-based. While many of you have problems already engaged in solving problems, you've probably used different approaches in order to achieve a solution. And issues and operational problems in a committee, for example, can be solved more easily and with better results by using a problem-solving model that is, for example, structured. It's a systemic approach to solving problems and making improvements. And there are several reasons for using a structured systemic approach to problem solving, and that's because we are ensuring the consistency, right? Everyone needs to know what method everyone is using in order to be able to solve a problem, and it keeps the process more scientific and less susceptible to individual biases and perceptions. It also helps to manage the group process. And these 6 steps in the problem solving model provides you a focus for the group, and it helps to set the agenda so that everybody can work on the model rather than use their individual approaches all at the same time. So following the method and using the data to make decisions make it easier for a group to reach consensus. And it also helps to solve your problems effectively, right? And these are tried and tested steps that actually work. And using this model will make problem solving easier and ultimately yield a better result, better outcomes, because you'll be using tested ideas and have eliminated those that don't work, and applying them in your own particular scenario. And of course, it helps to build a convincing case for change. Once you present the activity, present the data, present the report back, whatever it might be, by using a problem-solving model, it enables a group to consider all possible causes of a problem and all possible solutions. A problem-solving model uses a series of logical steps to help your group identify the most important causes and the best solutions. So by following this particular model, not only does it help you or your group arrive to a solution, it helps the group arrive to a justifiable solution. And of course, it also allows you to present a clear and convincing rationale for your actions in solving a particular problem or issue. And it's also a process improvement model, right? It helps to improve the way that you solve problems within your organization, and it's a methodical approach for presenting your evaluations, your conclusions, and especially when it comes to the process of improving your activities. And if you can visualize, if you don't have a pen and paper, visualize it, or save this for later, in the way that I'm thinking, or the way that I would like to show you a diagram or a chart that is used in process improvement, so that you can share it with your team or your coworkers. Of course, there is, as I shared before, a systemic approach to problem solving, and we'll be using the 6-step approach, which allows for decision making based on data rather than guesses or hunches. right? It determines the root causes of the problems rather than reactionary, rather than reacting to its superficial symptoms. And it devises permanent solutions rather than relying on that band-aid or the quick fix, right? So although problem-solving models can be highly sophisticated and technical, the following model has 6 very small steps, very short steps. But despite of its simplicity in nature, this model is very comprehensive, that it addresses all, I think, all technical problems that you might be faced with. And the simplicity of this model makes it easier for your group to remember when solving a problem. So what we'll be taking a look at would be if you think about a circle, right? And we'll be using a circle as the format in which I want you to remember the sequence 1 through 6 very simple steps. And the steps in this sequence are arranged in a circle because it emphasizes the cyclical, continuous nature of the problem-solving process. And all 6 steps must be followed in this order. I will demonstrate or show you the 6 various steps. And there are some characteristics that you must understand about this model, and that these steps are definitely repeatable. Right, and because it's in a circular fashion, the process is continuous. So we'll get right into it. Step number 1, right? So if you're looking at your circle, you've drawn a circle on your piece of paper and you've numbered it, whether it's 1 through 6 or a square box 1 through 6. Make sure they're spread out. We'll start with step number 1, and we'll be working on a clockwise fashion. Step number 1 is defining your problem, right? So the first step is identifying the problem. And it's basically a broad review of what your situation is, right? Is putting together all of the information, just like putting together a puzzle, right? All the bits and pieces need to come. So define the problem. So as you go through this step, you'll find yourselves raising, reviewing, discarding statements. So the problem is you sort what are symptoms versus what is the problem, right? So just get to the point of what the problem is. Okay, step number 2. Determine the root causes of the problem. Why is this happening? Why did this happen? Step number 3. Develop alternative solutions. So once you've defined a problem, right, first thing you want to do is jump to a particular solution. However, in a creative problem solving process, it will require you to explore a full range of possible solutions before reaching conclusion of using a very particular solution. So assemble a variety of solutions from which you will then whittle down and prioritize, or however your process is, to choose a final solution. But generate as many potential solutions as possible, and make sure that each solution is relational to the causes of the problem. And then, if there are ideas that are being shared, so merge similar or related solutions. But you're still not, right? At this stage, once you've done that, you're not ready to select the best solution. You simply want to reduce redundancy, eliminate any possibilities that don't address the causes you identified earlier. And you're working towards step number 4, which is selecting a solution. So as The fourth step, evaluate each potential solution for its strengths and its weaknesses. You're selecting a solution requires, and it entails searching for the most effective solution by applying some very basic criteria to it becoming an effective solution for you. So think about the solution. Is it technically feasible? And is it acceptable to those who will have to implement it, right? So will the people who have to implement this, are they willing to do it? So feasibility is determined by asking yourself the following questions. Can it be implemented in a reasonable amount of time? Can it be done within cost limits if you have a budget? Or if you don't have a budget, right? Very important to know. Will this solution work reliably? Will it use staff and equipment efficiently? Right? You don't want to waste company time, and you don't want to use equipment and waste money, right? Is it flexible enough to the adapting changes and conditions of your organization, your group, your team, right? So will this solution work down the road? So basically, you're evaluating. You're by asking these questions, you're evaluating your solution's acceptability within the group. You also want to know whether or not the people on the ground, your team, the people who are implementing this, the implementers, support the solution, and is it worth everyone's time and energy? Are there risks associated with the solution, but are they manageable? You also want to think about whether this solution benefit the persons affected by the problem or the program affected by the problem. Will it benefit the organization? Okay, so selecting a solution requires you to choose one that's going to be effective, one that has sufficient technical quality to resolve the problem, and that is acceptable to those who are going to implement it, right? So that's all. That's a lot for step number 4, but things to consider. Step number 5 would be implementing your solution, right? You're choosing a solution that perhaps doesn't immediately solve the problem, but you're putting your solution into action, and okay, now moving on to step number 5 is implementing the solution, right? You're choosing a solution in thinking that it's not going to immediately solve your problem, but putting a solution into action may prove as difficult as deciding on one, right? So implementing a stage requires some action planning. Okay, what must be done? Who will do it? When will it start? When will we hit key milestones, right? What are your checkpoints? What is your deadline? When will it be completed, right? So how will the necessary actions be carried out, your objectives? And think about, why are these actions a solution? And then we'll round it out with your 6th step. And the 6th step is a must-have with anything and everything that you do within your organization or your team or your group, and that's evaluate the outcome. In the most simplest terms, evaluation is the monitoring that any project needs to ensure that milestones, tasks are met, costs are contained, work is completed. But unfortunately, most groups neglect or really cheat themselves out of this step, and they don't get the continued results or performance that they were hoping to achieve, right? So just think of it in ensuring that you're an effective team, you're an effective group, but you must have this mechanism included as your problem-solving model if you want to be effective in your programming. So make sure that you are collecting data and reporting on what you're accomplishing, and because it creates that credibility for your group with your constituency, right? With your grant makers, your donors. And reflect on your own process and your own results, and this would help your group keep its effectiveness, right? It also brings the problem-solving process in what's full circle as a reflective of results, and it helps your group identify its next steps. So that's it for today's coffee break. Make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video so get back to work or whatever it is that you were doing. And we'll see you at our next coffee break. Should you want a workshop on this particular topic, feel free to get at me. Thanks.